Alright, if you're running a local business or an online website in 2026, whether that's roofing, construction, contracting, or landscaping, there's a simple truth that you need to accept. If you're not budgeting for marketing consistently, you're not playing it safe. You're just giving the market away to competitors who are actually willing to pay for the attention. And that's genuinely why I love lead gen ads and instant forms on Facebook in 2026. No slow website, no complicated funnel, and no let me think about it from your clients. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how an agency would run lead gen ads for local service businesses like roofing or construction, and that way you can apply those same tools and assets to your business and your online site. I'm also going to sneak in a little sneak peek on why you should use more than one creative and why using one bland creative and one modern creative usually helps when you're doing A/B testing. So let's get right into it. Alright, so here's what we're going to walk away with today during the video. We're going to learn how to structure a lead campaign so that it doesn't just generate basic leads or generic leads. We're going to also learn how to build an instant form so it filters low intent without killing volume. We're going to learn what to say in your ads for your headlines, for your description, for all the above. We're going to also go over how to think about a follow-up call in a way so that you're not only productive, but you also produce revenue. And lastly, once you optimize your data, we're going to learn how to basically take that follow-up call without panicking and without changing everything. So basically, if you're a business owner, you can run this by yourself. But if you're an agency owner, this is one of the cleanest offers you can sell in 2026. Alright, so before I even touch Ads Manager, we're going to go over why Instant Forms actually works and why it's going to be super profitable in 2026 and why it's been profitable in the year of 2025 and before. So basically, local services and local service advertising is not e-commerce, right? It's not drop shipping. It's not something that you're basically trying to sell to someone who doesn't know about your product. Local service marketing is basically when you're marketing to people who are in need of your product or your service or who match your critiques of your data. So that way, once you go in and you say, okay, this is my demographic, this is who needs the help. Once you apply those data and analytics to your research and to your A/B testing and your audience, after that, you'll be able to basically apply it to people who are actually in need of your forms. So when you say, hey, do you need roofing or do you need a fix in your roof or is there any problem with marketing, blah, 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 whatever your form is about, you can type that out as the headline. And then after that, you can ask all the questions you need in order to contact them as a lead. An example I like to use for this a lot is people aren't buying your hoodie because your ad had a crazy look. They're basically raising their hand because they needed a new hoodie or because they had a problem with their last hoodie, blah, blah, blah. So, for instance, if we're talking about a roofing company, a leak, storm damage, or a project they've been putting off, or maybe even a deadline, is a super important reason why you marketing towards the people who need roofing done is done at a rate in which it'll actually convert into a lead. That's what a funnel is. Basically, you pinching down your audience into a super, super small demographic that's compatible to your ad, whether it's a form or a link to go to your website. You basically niche them down so much. If you think of a upside down pyramid, that's exactly what it represents. All right, so now I'm on my desk. I'm on a fresh ads manager campaign. This is usually for our YouTube videos, as you see. But so one thing we're gonna focus on right now is creating like a simple offer or simple form that people can fill out, right? But basically, we're gonna choose a campaign objective. For us, we're gonna do leads because that's what we're focused on, right? We're gonna do instant forms as well. And if you look in the lead section, obviously instant forms is listed in that. So that's gonna help a lot. And our objective, right, again, is to do a simple offer, but the simple offer doesn't have to be lazy, right? We're looking for something that's clean that obviously translates to your audience. So we're gonna do for our buying type, we're gonna choose auction, of course, as well. We're just gonna click continue, and then once this loads up, basically this is where we start the ad creative process. So for the campaign name for this, I'm just gonna type in we did roofing test video already, so we're gonna do for this. So I'm gonna do roofing lead gen. And then obviously it's a video, which we've done in the past. Just type that in. And so we're going to keep the auction type for our budget type, and then our campaign objective we're going to keep for leads. For our spending limit, if you want to add a spending limit, which you're usually going to do, I'm going to do, it's usually for your ad set. So right now it's doing a campaign spending limit. But if you want to choose one, I usually choose how much I want to spend every day. So rather than spending X amount through the campaign and it marks you have to spend $350 if you do a campaign spending limit. That's the thing. So if you want to leave this alone, leave it alone, and then we'll go down below and then just keep it on an ad set budget. So make sure you switch that if you haven't already. So when it comes to A/B testing, one of the things I love to say to people is use more than one creative, right? Don't just use two creatives for A/B testing, right? I say that a bland creative and a modern creative is usually great for ads. You have one that's just going to appeal to those who are a little bit older, right? Those who obviously will not only relate to an ad that looks a bit older, but they'll just obviously see it and it'll just click in their brain rather than them seeing some AI generated ad or something like that. For what do we want to test for A to be creative? I usually say audience. That's what I do for my posts, for my Instagram posts, for my marketing posts. I usually test the audience because if one audience doesn't work, I like to use the other audience and test that as well. But for this, we're going to do creative because if you're an agency owner or you own a business and you're running ads for somebody, you want to use that creative so that you can test which one is actually bringing in the most customers. If I were doing it for myself and I had like an Instagram post up or a Facebook post up, I'd do a day. I would just test it for a day, see what my ad spend is, and then I'd obviously keep my ad spend for that day higher, but that's just for that. We're gonna do cost per engagement. You can obviously change it for cost per landing page if you're doing it to your website, but you'll get into that later. This is super important. Do not miss this step. I went full screen just so you guys know. This is the biggest step when you are running ads. There are two things in here: Advantage Plus and then Audience Plus or something like that. Creative Dynamic Plus or something like that. Those are things you want to turn on. If you are creating ads for yourself and you don't want to just use like stock photos, then you would turn on Creative Plus or Creative Dynamic so that it'll create photos for you or whatever. But the one step I will always say to keep on is Advantage Plus. This not only diversifies your leads from demographic, but it diversifies your audience. So every time you put out an ad or the ad that you put out, it'll test all those different audiences, even if you have A to B on. So I just wanted to say that right quick. All right, so obviously in my top right, I have Advantage Plus leads on because it is a lead campaign, and even if I didn't have it on the lead campaign, I'd want Advantage Plus on. So, all right, so we get into the ad set portion. I'm gonna do roofing lead gen. And then for our conversion location, we're gonna do instant forms. So you obviously like when you first get to Ads Manager, you're gonna get the option to do website and instant forms. That's okay, but you're gonna have to do a bunch of different steps. I've been working on it myself. You have to code, and you have to put a bunch of different things into your site. Actually, like when I talk about creating your site, you have to go back into those tools, paste that code in, and then go from there. So I always would recommend just to do instant forms. Right, it's already recommended by Facebook, and you're on Advantage Plus, so it knows. So obviously, you have your estimated daily results on your right from what the lead is. We're doing instant forms. Go ahead and link your Facebook page after that. It'll make it super easy. And then for your performance goal, we're going to do maximize number of leads. So rather than the conversion leads, the ones that kind of go to your page, they might click it, they might not. The ones that are most likely to do so, and we're not even going to do that. We're just going to do the most likely to share their information who actually need help with your ad. For catalog, I'm just going to go ahead and go to this. It says you should always have more than one, but I don't really have a catalog and I don't need a catalog for this form. And I don't need dynamic creative on because I'm not going to run more than one creative. If I was going to run more than one creative and I also didn't have any like special effects or edits to my creatives, that's one thing. But because I would run a creative that actually has effects or I created myself, I don't need it. One thing I also say is when you do run a creative, make sure that the creative fits the aspect ratio of what you're posting on. So when you post on Facebook or Instagram, the majority of your leads are going to come from a mobile device, not a desktop device, whether on a computer or not a Mac or a TV, right? That's usually how they break down marketing. You want to make sure that your creatives are actually able to fit on an iPhone. So you can do landscape portion, you can do portrait aspect, whatever works. All right, so as we get to the budget and schedule portion, I just want to kind of note something, right? So if you're spending dollars a day, like if you're spending $8 a day or you're spending $10 a day, that's fine. I think that's what I do when I sample posts and stuff like that. But when you're doing that, that's not marketing. That's sampling. Say you would regularly allocate $100 for your ad creatives or for your ad posts, right? If you're spending $10, you're basically fighting a market of competitors who are using 200, 300, $1,000 for a marketing budget, whether that's campaign or ad set. You're fighting those competitors for ads because Facebook ads is pay to win. So one of the things that I tell all my clients is a budget that's over $100 a day, if you're a business, it's great. If you're an individual or you're just trying to grow your business as a whole, then I would definitely recommend starting with the smaller budget. So for many local service-based businesses, a reasonable starting rate is basically just getting enough leads every day so that you can manage and basically overlook all the data that you're receiving from your leads, as well as turn them into cold calls. So with a budget like that, I'm usually going to use a daily budget of around $20. If not 20, I'd put it at 15 just to start. For our audience, I have a couple audiences saved from my previous account, but those don't show up on here. Luckily, we're using Advantage Plus, so Facebook will just take the audience that we're using and then it'll break it down, and then after that, apply it to more leads who are similar to that demographic. Our location is going to be the United States, and then we're going to leave this alone as well. For our ad transparency, it's built by a single person, but we're not going to touch it It would obviously include verification because, our placements are going to be super simple. For devices, we're going to do all. If you want to just do mobile devices like a phone, you can obviously change that. You can take off desktop because you're less likely to obviously run into a lead who's sitting on the computer and more into someone who's on their phone scrolling through Facebook and they need help with roofing, right? So we're going to do mobile for this one. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and complete that. If you see this, you have Advantage Plus on anyway. Your campaign score is probably at like 100 or 90 now. So I'm going to keep Advantage Plus leads on. I'm going to apply that. If you ever see that on the side, just make sure that it's on. I'm telling you guys, it'll turn on and off. Like I said, mistakes happen. So you have to take that extra look because you don't want to mess up your leads. And then lastly, as we get into the ad creative portion, we're going to name this again Roofing Lead Gen. And then all my accounts are obviously linked, Facebook and Instagram. And then for our ad creation setup, we're going to do create ad or use an existing post. If you have a Facebook account or an Instagram account, you can link that on Facebook ads. If you didn't have them linked already, it would obviously give you the option. But because I have mine linked, it just showed up ready. If this were me and I were creating a form for my Instagram or my Facebook, I'd go to single image and then I'd use an existing post. Now, my Instagram and my Facebook are linked to this, but because I am not able to use it right now, I haven't done all the full form steps on this ad account, but I have on my other one. This will pop up. I'll obviously need to make some changes for my call to action. I would obviously need to link some more things, but that is not what we're doing. Also, we are not running a roofing lead gen. We're running a roofing. So I'd obviously use an existing post, and then after that, I'd go to create a form. And this is where you're able to basically dedicate all your text or your headlines and to say, what do I want to capture my audience with? And what am I going to say to them in order for them to fill out this form? Now, this goes hand in hand with your niche. So if you're roofing, contracting, if you're an agency owner, you're looking for other agency owners who need help with their leads, this is where you put that information. So for this form name, I'm going to do the lead gen video, obviously. And then what I'm asking for is I'm asking for more volume. I'm asking for more fill outs. I'm asking for more clients. I'm asking for more leads. That way I can obviously keep my return on interest high when it comes to my leads and my ads. So we're going to click next. And then after this is where we get the headline. So say you were a agency running this instant form for a roofing company or for your agency. Actually, let's do an agency, right? So say you were an agency owner. We're going to kind of skip out of that roofing concept. We're going to go to just an agency concept. If you needed a headline, I would obviously recommend like a hook, something that gets agency owners to say, "Oh wait, this actually correlates to me." So I'd say something like having trouble with ads question mark, right? And if not that, I'd say something like want to grow your client base or want to grow your lead acquisition, something like that, something that would actually benefit a business owner. And then for the description, obviously something that I used before was free roof inspection, same day quote. And then that would be for like the roofing concept. So if I made a headline for a roofing company, it would obviously be like having roofing troubles or have a roofing project you need done or need roof work, need a new roof, blah, 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 roof damage, anything that obviously will correlate with your audience. So we're going to go to next, and then your form will obviously grow. So this will be the next page of your form. So on this form, you can obviously add a question or a hook at the top of your form, but that's not what we're going to do. We're just going to basically ask, what do we want the customer to fill out? So for the description, I'm going to obviously paste this again, just so the customer knows, like, why am I here again? I clicked this ad, I clicked this funnel. Why am I here? What do I need to fill out? So what we're going to ask for them is we're going to ask for their name, their number, their contact information. If you're an agency and you're looking to see what business they're actually trying to grow, then I'll click add category. Then I would go to work information. Then I go to company name, and then I'd add that as well. So then once they get to the form, they'd have to add that as well. You can make some of these optional if you'd like, but usually if you're creating a form, you want them to fill out everything. So say that's all I needed. Obviously, there's more option as far as categories go. If you want their address, if you want their city, their zip code, just so you can break down the demographic even more, that's totally fine. There's zero problem with adding more things because if you make them optional, it doesn't even matter, right? Chances are they're going to fill it out. So that's how you basically create the form to your liking, asking what you'd like. These are super simple questions. One of the things that I like and want to point out before you even create your form, right? You have all these options: full name, email, phone number, company name. You don't even have to use that, right? Obviously, you're going to have an extra page to use that for, but you can delete all of these. And what you can do is go to the very top when it says questions. You can just create a question. That way, if you had a question like, do you need roofing work? Are you someone who's interested in roofing? Are you a digital marketing agency looking to grow your lead? Say this is in the concept of a marketing agency. Are you a digital marketing agency looking to grow your leads or your client outreach? Do you need leads? Are you struggling with leads? Whatever it is, you can ask that. So you can say short answer. I need someone who's going to type out the answer. You can do an appointment request. Even if you want to skip all this and say, I need roofing work. I need to grow my leads on Facebook ads. Whatever it is, you can type it in and basically put that here, and you have the option to do so. So say we choose multiple choice. I say, in need of roofing work, right? Or no, let's go to a marketing agency. So we're in the marketing agency concept. So we're going to go in need of new lead acquisition systems. And then for our answers, we're going to choose yes, no, and then say you want to add another question, right? We can always do no, but struggling. You know what I mean? You can obviously take all the steps you need. And this is what it's going to look like on your ad creative, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram. One of the things I love about Meta is that it places these on Instagram stories, Instagram reels, on whether you're scrolling through your feed or your explore page. These are all concepts and all places that it works on and that it's placed into. And those are called placements. So say we're finished with this, we're done. We're going to click next. We're going to click next as well. Obviously, I'd paste my website just in case or for my privacy policy, and I have that as well. But because I don't feel like using that, we're just going to paste this link. So we're going to click next. Obviously, our privacy policy is in the red because I didn't link one, and that's totally fine. If you have a website, you have a privacy policy. If you don't have a website, that's totally fine. Go into Shopify, create a $0 account. Just create a page, like a simple page. You don't have to create a whole website. Create a page that's public and make it a privacy policy page for your business. And then you can link that in your Facebook ad, and then it'll work perfectly fine. So for our headline for this, I'm going to say, I'm going to keep this. You're all set. You can visit or exit the forum tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to say, we'll contact you shortly. And then for our additional action, I'm going to say go to website. So if you already had them fill out that form, you already had them as a lead in your Facebook ads. What I'd suggest is to link your website. Go ahead and link that so that when they click on your website, they get a lead that way as well. Now you get all the demographical information, all the analytics, age, name, contact name, contact information, business information, niche, blah, blah, blah. So you're able to obviously link that here. Your call to action could be view website, apply, learn more. If you have an application website, if you're running a digital marketing agency and you have an apply page, you can obviously link your apply page and then make the call to action apply rather than view website. And then yeah, so that's basically it for the form. If you're creating a form, it's super simple, nothing more than that. I'm obviously gonna exit out of this, but that'll be the end of that. Okay, so yeah, basically that's it for the form. I have that form attached, and then basically I will just be able to publish this ad. On the side, you have your estimated daily results, whether that's reach, whether that's leads. Even with my budget at a small 15, my reach is 720 and my leads are 16 estimated. With Advantage Plus on, I can almost guarantee that that's going to happen. So if you're running an agency or you need to create ads or create leads for a business that you're basically getting paid to run ads for, don't worry about it. Facebook is going to take care of it. And that's why I always recommend running ads for businesses. It's super profitable. It's super niche. So you don't have a lot of competition, but no, your competition is definitely on the prowl. So don't take a step off. All right, so that's basically it for the ad manager forms tutorial, I guess you could say. But one of the things that I just want to mention wholehandedly and wholeheartedly is that there's basically a secret that most people skip when it comes to these forms and Facebook ads in general. So one of the things I say for your creative is 100% set expectations, right? Before you finish this video and before you go and just create the video because you're tagging along with me, I appreciate that. I 100% do. I love you for watching the video wholeheartedly and using it for what it's used for. But set expectations on your creative. Set expectations in your offer, in your hook, in your title, whatever it is. Set expectations so that your client knows you have this outline, you've used it before, and you have expectations for yourself. One of the things I do for my business and my brand is if we don't create these leads for you, if we don't generate them for you, you don't even have to pay for your next month. We have you on retainer, we'll cancel it. It doesn't matter. We usually generate 15 leads a month for a person, and this think about it. That ad campaign that we just ran was for like 10 days and it had an estimated 16 leads. So if we didn't create those 15 leads for you, you don't even have to pay for your next month. We want them to come through to you so you can contact them on hand, no questions asked. So now we talk follow up, right? This is where most people lose the bag. This is where most people struggle. This is where most people drop the church's chicken. or the church's money. I don't know. In local services, basically, the first company to respond is basically the company that wins. So you're always fighting competition. If you call fast, your appointment rate basically jumps, and if you call late, you're basically fighting 3 other businesses just to get at that one business. So a sample first call script I like to use, or I'm just going to show for you guys, is, hey, is this blah blah blah? You just requested fee inspections on your Facebook. I just want to see what's going on and get you scheduled so we can fix that for you. Is this something urgent, or is there a leak? Is there storm damage, or is this more of a planning situation? Blah blah blah. And then basically you can just transition into booking after that. Make it easy for the customer and the client. When you optimize, don't get scared. Don't get shaken up by all the new numbers and things that you see. This is totally normal, even if you're running a business or you're an ad agency owner. Trust me, this is totally normal. You're just getting used to the motion, right? You're just getting used to what's coming, right? So that's the 2026 lead gen system. Nothing new, nothing crazy. A real offer that gives people to act, and a lead objective with instant forms that gives your buyer or your future client a reason to fill out your form. And yeah, if you want, I can make a part 2 where I show a retargeting setup of how you can retarget those leads that you basically got, or how you can close better on a cold call. We have a cold call video that's up here. If you want to click on that, go ahead. And if you haven't seen it, just watch it, just because you got to get better at everything. So if you need help with your leads, or if you run an ad agency that needs help with your leads, if you have an outreach system that isn't really working for you, that you're looking to kind of grow your business or your brand, feel free to reach out to us on our Instagram or our Facebook. We're 24/7 open every single day of the week, all days and hours. I'm recording this video at 1:44, so you're always open. So if you need help, go ahead and comment leads if you want. Other than that, click subscribe, like the video. I love you guys. Hope you grow your business. Hope to see you later. Peace.